Reload. Welcome to Talk to Me. It is an amazing day today. It is not Soul Searching Sunday, but it is book launch day. And I'm so excited to have everyone here joining me today. I'm just really excited because today, Soul Searching, get on board for transformation. The second edition is launching today. And with the help of some friends and all of you out there, we are going to be making me a #1 bestseller. And I'm so excited about that. My first guest today of all the experts that I have on tracking through the 5 different steps of the tap-in is none other than Miss Nakia Morris, beauty cut right herself, a YouTube influencer, a entrepreneur. Look, not just an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. I'm sure if it's been done, she's done it. And so I'm so excited because she is one of my biggest fans and one of the people that made me believe that I could do this second edition and close the gaps that I left in the first edition. So Nakia, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you for having me. I very much appreciate it. I'm grateful.
You know, we're going to talk about when you're here, we're going to talk about the T in tap-in. Because for those of you that don't know, tap-in is my 5-step strategic method for getting past your stuck points. I am so sick of people narrating their own limiting beliefs. And in the tap-in process, I teach you how to move from here to there, or shall I say from here to where you really want to be. And so I asked Nakia to come on and talk to me about mindset, because it's all about transforming your mindset that to get to a place where you can actually believe you can achieve the things that you have conceived. So we're going to start with, before we go into tap-in, I want Nakia to tell us a little bit about how she started doing what she does and how we got connected.
I was a college teacher for IADT. I was teaching fashion design at the time. This was back in 2011. And around that time, that is when I started my Beauty Cut Right channel. So I started doing everything with YouTube, influencing, and just helping people out through my own creative endeavors. Mm-hmm. And within my life, I came to a point where I was going through a divorce. And I started to share as I was going through that transition in my life of leaving a very toxic relationship and to coming to a place where I had to learn how to deal with myself. And so I started to share that information on YouTube, which was scary, but I felt compelled to do it because other people, you never know who else is going through the same thing you're going through. Mm-hmm. And I came to find out I was not alone. I came to find out that there were so many that were still stuck in other areas that I was working through and actually showing them how it's done. And it didn't take Brenda long. She said she just saw a few minutes of a video of me talking about my divorce and what I was going through and how I was trying to handle it. Like I didn't know everything, but I was just trying the best that I could. And she said that made her get up, start doing some things. And in the midst of me encouraging her through just me sharing something vulnerable and private to me, she, with this book, that interchange of encouragement came right back. It came full circle. So that's how me and Brenda met. And then I decided to start a community. And she was there in that community. And within that community, she stepped up and she shared the best of her. And we came to learn to know that her name is she is the solutionist. She was giving us solutions within that community. It was free and it was just a safe place for all of us to be able to just share our talents and actually glean from each other spiritually per se. But yes, that's how me and Brenda met. So that I'm very happy to share that story. It makes me feel very grateful to have met you, Brenda.
And I'm so excited that you came today because one of the things that you and I both do so well is work with other women and help them transform their mindset so that they too can shift into living their best lives now. And with that said, can you tell me how tapping the book and all of this has helped you?
It's well, there's especially chapter 7 and then the 7 whys because you mention it in this book.
Mhm.
So the very first thing I'm going to read it because it's the first paragraph you put into this book that I really liked, and it made me kind of skip over everything because I was already there. It's just I
Right,
needed the reminders, and your book was an inspiration to remind me who I was. But it says, what you tell yourself matters. Every day we are bombarded with useless information that serves us no purpose, combined with the subconscious stories that play in our head over and over again, like
right.
broken records. So we must learn to control our thoughts. And I also think we should control our feelings too, because that's a
Mhm.
part of our limited beliefs. And she mentions this in here, just to keep those things keep us hostage. So this chapter alone helped me to go into my 7 whys. I do believe in the I am statement. I do believe in scripting, and she mentions that in the book. If you feel stuck, she also mentions that your mindset is really the key. It's what you're thinking. So you got to unlock it. You have the key. You don't have to look outside of yourself to find it, it's already in you. But if you feel stuck, she mentions the 7 whys is always useful when you're stuck. So refer to chapter 3. This book is amazing. And I'm just showing you guys how it has helped me by going through it in a strategic way because a solutionist gives you things in a strategic way.
Mhm.
So I love how she says, I believe the I am statement is the most powerful creative force statement on the planet. And I 100,000 millimeter, I don't know, just beyond infinity, agree with that. It's especially important when you put it on paper. I know we want to do things from our phone. I know we want to do things from our, like our mobile devices, our iPads. It has the digital, and that is totally fine. But if your hand is not holding something and writing it so it can get to your subconscious mind, this is how she's laying it out. That's how a solutionist does things. I recognize her strategy, and that's how it helped me. So yes, would you like for me to go more? I have
Well,
more.
we're going to take a little, give you a second right here. We're going to show the book because
Yes.
what I want people to do is go right now, go to BrendaTheSolutions.com or to Amazon.2/3 capital B Q capital A O. You think for somebody that's listening. But here's the thing, you guys. If you go to Brenda the Solutionist, just put a U in solution and add the is BrendaTheSolutionist.com, you can purchase the book. If it's easier for you, just go to my Instagram page, check in the link in my bio, there's a link where you can click on it and you can purchase the book. Or like I said, you can go to BrendaTheSolutionist.com, and I'm going to make me a banner down at the bottom so that you can find that because I should have thought of that earlier, but I wasn't thinking about it.
You were. You just came to the time where you could actually get it done.
It's so many different things that are going on right now, and it says add in a banner. So I'm going to create me a banner that tells you where you can go and purchase. Look for the book, look for all the links for all the fun things we have. Because I don't know if you know, Nakia, but what we're doing is today we're having this live stream until 4:30 where I'm bringing
Yeah.
on the 5 experts to come in um, to get your book. And we're also having a Zoom party at 5 o'clock to celebrate. And we're just having a lot of fun things that are going to be going on. Or should I just show it and make it not scroll? We'll figure out how this works in a minute.
Yeah.
But the fun part about it is every time you make something, you can create a new banner and it will see if the one will just be stationary and make it easier for people. But the whole part of what we're doing today is we're going with the flow. We're not even trying to have no special
Yes.
anything.
Light is air.
It's just about having some fun and saying, there we go. So
Yay.
for the make it easier for people. That way you can find it and you ain't gotta go make sure I spelled it right. Brenda the Soul. Look, I gotta look for myself because I'm telling you the truth. It's been one of those days where I have just been so full and so
Mm,
excited for all the support that has been generated for this book launch. If you're ready to purchase the book, then please go to BrendaTheSolutionist.com. That's Brenda the Solutionist, SOULUTIONIST.com, and purchase your book right now because we want to get me to #1 bestseller. Not only that, after we have this live stream that we're in at 4:30, we're going to go in at 5 o'clock to the Zoom.
mhm.
And at that website, BrendaTheSolutions.com, there are links for you to not only uh, buy the book, but you can also check out the link to get connected to the live stream in other areas, which is on YouTube. You can
Mhm.
also get the giveaway because I do have a giveaway of the Best Year Ever Blueprint, which
Mhm.
I'm really proud of. It's a flip book, and I had a blast making
Yes.
it. I could not have made that book without my accountability coach, Miss Lisa Desharam. Lisa has held my hand through this entire process, just like you have for all the things you've done to help me. And I want to stop right there because, again, going back to the book, I was very excited when I heard you had read the book 12 times. And then you were talking about even doing a book club. Other people have done book clubs.
Yes.
What in it was it about the book that made you want to share it with other people?
My motto in life is investing in other people. That's
Mm-hmm.
been my motto. It's been in my subconscious mind for a long time, and it took this book to help me bring that back to my memory. So
Mm-hmm.
investing in other people, that takes time and money, but it also
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot of love. And the only way you can be able to do that is you have to fill your cup. So yeah, like this book helps to fill your cup. So when you take care of yourself and you go inward and you're at peace with self, it makes it a lot easier to take what you've just used. You learn this is a tool to help other people. So you can't really invest in other people if you do not invest in yourself first. And there's so many different ways that you can do that. It's just by learning through, and especially through this book. I know the one that's my favorite because she has in this part of the transformation is getting you to write the things down. And she has tell yourself this is allows you to celebrate and then what to forgive yourself or forgive,
Mm-hmm.
in anything. And I wrote these down, and this means this is the 13th time. Which for
Let's
me
take my
is
little piece
funny. It's
here.
a lucky number to me, but this means this is the
Mm-hmm.
13th time. And now I'm actually writing in the book because for some apparent reason I was going in circles, trying lying to myself about things.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, you know what? If I write this down, it's in stone. It's there and I
Mm-hmm.
commit to it, which is the part where you get to the end. She talks about 7 things to commit to. And I was like, oh, I forgot about this. Let me come back to this again. And I
Mm-hmm.
got some amazing things that I wrote in here this time, and I am at peace with what I've written.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want me to share, I'll share. But
You're free. You're
yeah,
free.
so I'll share, tell yourself.
I
I'm
love tell.
proud.
That's not for one second. You know what? The
Yeah,
Tell Yourself section. That's why I did the Tell Yourself Tuesday. So that section is right about that because on
yeah.
Tuesdays I love telling myself something positive about myself.
She would do that in the listen community. That was the community that we had, and we decided that we would create little like themes to
Mm-hmm.
help build each other up. And her Tell Yourself Tuesdays was amazing. So I was like, I'm proud of how far I've come. It doesn't matter what
Okay.
it is. I'm proud of my skills and talents. Doesn't matter what they are. I'm proud of my personal mistakes, and I'm proud of my personal successes. I prefer to be proud of the mistakes first before my successes because that's what
Mm-hmm.
got me successful was the mistakes. I'm proud of my spiritual growth, especially through reading this book a 13th time. I'm on the 7th chapter, so I'm going to go finish it up. And I'm proud of my work ethic, how I think about professionalism and how I'm growing in that area. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of my husband. I'm proud of Mario. I'm proud of who I chose to be in partnership
You
with.
see me blinking, right? You see me blinking because although we know each other, and I heard you say that the other day, and I meant to ask you, did we get married again and not tell a sister? Really? And like on live air, we just gonna drop that manhole cover as if it's oh yes, I just met my husband Mario. Girl, did you just do that to me in public, in front of folks?
Isn't
Not
that
that
what
I
you're
haven't already
supposed
been
to
in love
do?
with your husband before, but now I'm
Right.
even more in love with Mario because let me tell you, I remember the tears. I remember the
Mhm.
pain. I remember the heartache. And I remember you sitting on the couch, which was the catalyst for me to get off my own couch, you know, and then the other things began to fall into place in my life. And then I remember when Mario first came and how you went from looking like a sad sister to every time we saw
Yes.
you, the smile was on your face and you looked like you was just skipping through the tulips. Come on now, that's a transformation. We need to stop right there for a minute because you manifested that man up in there because we were talking about the kind of relationship you
Yes.
wanted to have. And that
Mm-hmm.
took a mindset shift and a lot of adjustment from where you came from. So you
That's
want to
right.
talk about that a little bit? Yeah, I put you on the spot. Oh, and hey Mario.
He's not in the office with me today, but
Hold on
that
one second. For those of y'all listen, this is a book launch, but that's part of the tap in. See, the tap
happens.
in affects all of your life. It's a holistic approach to how you deal with your relationships, your spiritual life and practices, your mental well being, your wellness, your physical fitness. And I'm just so excited because although we have talked, you kept that real low key. Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
For a reason.
I know. I
For
know.
a reason. Yes. But to talk more about that, now that you said that, it made me think about commitment. I wanted to go
Hmm.
to the 7 things I commit to, and then
Okay.
the things that I forgive, because this was in relation to the last live we did when we were talking about forgiveness, where
Mhm.
yourself is unnegotiable. It's non-negotiable. You have to forgive yourself. You should,
Mhm.
for your own sanity. But then depending on the solution or the situation, that person has the right to choose whether they want to forgive or not, and have their own
Mhm.
personal why. That is, no one should be able to judge that but themselves. But that made me think about my relationship with him. It's a commitment that is very spiritual, but it's more so, if I commit to me first, it'll
Mhm.
show in how I commit to him. So,
Okay.
like I've written, I commit to feel before I act.
Oh.
So to
Mhm.
feel, you have to process the feelings. Too many times we act out of our emotions and we don't even know why we're feeling the way we're feeling. So
Absolutely.
that's very important, especially for women who appear or are known to have a certain stature about themselves because of
Mhm.
how they may have been raised or whatever their life situation is. To commit to listen before I speak,
Okay.
to commit to breathe when I'm angry,
I like that.
to commit to love myself more. It
Okay.
stops there. More.
Okay.
There's no
More.
limit. We don't say nothing
Right.
else.
I
It's
got
just
you. I
more.
got you. It's more.
I commit to self care that nurtures my soul.
Okay.
I commit to sex in love.
Mhm.
I commit to intimacy and love. That was
Mm.
like my commitment. That's like,
Yeah.
that benefits both of us. Trust me.
Absolutely. I like that. I like that.
But those commitments that you make to yourself, in this book, when I was reading it and I had to churn on it again because I was writing in
Mhm.
a total separate journal when I was
Mhm.
doing this. And I think today this really hit home run. Like, this is it. This is what I commit
Mhm.
to. And it's simple, it's not overcomplicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. And then that leads to the forgiveness aspects of it. Do you want me
You
to
know,
share?
you know what? You share what you want to share. I'm so excited, but I want to make sure my coach, I'm not sure if Coach Emmanuel can hear me down there. I see he's kind of chiming in with some people. I'm going to be bringing my book coach on pretty soon, but I'm going to give him an opportunity to finish up what he's doing. But go ahead and share that part with us.
Well, forgiveness. It just seems like this year is all about relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
family and traditions and roots and mother nature and motherhood and ancestral things. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
what your religion or your beliefs are, they're all connected in some way, shape, or form. So they all should be brought out with love. But forgiveness, like
Mm-hmm.
listening to Brenda, like we have different points of views, but it was so funny to experience the view and really understand it. And this time I was able to write some forgiveness things that were really simple. And this could help people release. Like, I forgive my parents because they did the best
Right.
they could. I forgive
Ooh.
myself because I did the best I could. I forgive my family because they did the best they could. I
Mm-hmm.
forgive those who crossed me because they didn't know who I was. I forgive those who don't know me. They are my discipline. You learn to take constructive criticism from people who don't know you. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we shy away from that because we don't want to face
Right. Right.
something in
Right.
us that needs to change to make us a better leader.
Mm-hmm.
6, I forgive myself. I'm human.
Right.
7,
Right.
I forgive Mario. He's human.
Mm.
Simple.
It's funny because there's so many different things that have happened over this past year that we've shared. And I want you to know I'm so excited for your journey. I'm so excited for what you have done to get to where you are. I'm so excited to just know that Mario and you come to a place of marriage, because hearing where you were before and seeing that in the way watching the way he loved on you when y'all were sharing those different things with us in the community, the listen community, we
Mhm.
all kept saying, wouldn't this be cool if this was her person? And we were all excited because we were cheering for Mario because I was like, sister, brother gonna have to come correct to get this woman. So I'm excited to hear that and that. Okay, y'all, for those of you that watch and talk to me, breaking news here. Miss Nakia's taken. It's too late for you fellas. Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Yes. Too late.
I'm
Yes, walk
so
away.
excited and I want to say thank you for coming to do the mindset play. I have my coach waiting in the audience, and I have Miss Mandeep Kerr waiting in the audience. So I want to thank you for your time. We're gonna go show the banner for the thing for the book while we bring them up on stage. And I just want to say, may you continue to be blessed as you bless others because you have been so instrumental in my own personal self development. And I could not thank you more for how, if it was not for your openness and willingness to be so raw and vulnerable on YouTube. I heard Rico Macadori, who's someone I interviewed recently, his interview is going to come out pretty soon. He said, people can't grow unless you share what you know. And because of you, I have grown tremendously. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a woman of excellence, for being a woman of service, and for always supporting me in everything I do. I thank you and I honor you.
Oh, thank you. I honor you too. Thank you for bringing it back full circle. You have no idea. Thank you.
Be blessed. Now, my coach seems to be talking to somebody, so I'm going to put this up here and I'm going to bring up Mandeep. Mandeep, are you ready? Just nod your head because I'm about to bring you through. Thanks, Nakia. Have a blessed day. And don't forget, if
Have
you
a
have
blessed
time,
day.
come back to the Zoom party. Come join
Yes,
us.
I will be there. Okay.
All right. We are launching. I'm preparing Mandeep to come get added into the stream. And I'm so excited to have her here. But while you're going, these are going to be our guests today. I got Coach D. Emmanuel who's talking. He's manning the phones, y'all, making sure people get that book. Nakia Morris just came through, Beauty Cut Right herself. Dr. Denise Sincere is coming on later on. Donovan West, but none other than Miss Mandeep Kerr is here yet. And I'm so excited. Hi, Mandeep.
Hi,
Mandeep is
Brenda. How are
hi.
you?
I'm absolutely wonderful and so honored that you came to spend today with me for this
I'm honored
time.
to be here.
Thank you. Mandeep is the founder and owner of Beyond Outsourcing. I said it right this time, right? Woohoo! Because I can't mess it up.
Yes, you got it right.
And I'm so excited. It's like anything you need that is business related, You need a virtual assistant that can be trusted, that has been vetted, that actually sits in the office, is not somewhere over in Korea hanging out doing whatever with you with your personal stuff. This is the woman you go to. Not only that, she is a serial entrepreneur because she doesn't have just one business, she has several. And so another woman of excellence that knows how to do things. And I asked Mandeep to come on and talk about the A portion of my tap in method. Because for those of you that just may be joining, the tap in method is a 5-step process, a strategic process to help you get from here to there to where you want to go. It is designed to help you move past your stuck points so you can stop narrating those limiting beliefs. And today, Mandeep's section of the book is announcing what you're going to do and getting some accountability. Because with Mandeep at her business, she helps business owners, small businesses and medium-sized, whatever you need, to get accountable for what it is they've already announced they want to do. You say you want to have a VA, you say you want to have a stronger business, you say you want to have seamless transition in the workforce. Well, Mandeep's going to hold you accountable. Mandeep, you want to tell us a little bit more about your business before we get into how this plays into Tap In?
Yes. Brenda, thank you for having me. It's an honor. And Kia, you did an awesome job. I love your story, and I will be following you very shortly.
There you go.
So a little bit about Beyond Outsourcing and myself. So I was in corporate America for 17 years before I started to open my own businesses. So Beyond Outsourcing was my first business. And the goal was to give women in India opportunities to either support their family or build their careers. So it was a stepping stone for women in India. I'm not sure how much you're familiar with the Indian culture, but women are not always given the opportunities that men are, especially in corporate or outside of the house. They're seen as individuals that have to be the housewives, right? So I wanted to change that mindset, and I wanted to start growing some leaders in India. So the way we do that is on the flip side. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My parents were business owners. My sister's business owner, and then hence that I'm a business owner as well. And I see my sister and I saw my parents working 24/7 around the clock. As a business owner, they had no freedom. They were constantly running and trying to meet the expectation of their clients and still struggling to pay their expenses. So looking at corporate America, they have utilized the outsourcing process. They have utilized how do they send their work offshore or to other countries and reduce the cost. And I took that method and applied it to small businesses, giving business owners here in the US, Canada, the opportunity to scale their business, get time back. And circling back to the book, accountability, your VAs will hold you accountable, and I will hold you accountable to your deliverables. So in a nutshell, that's how I started one of my businesses. And then the other one, I was in the IT field. So I have an IT consulting firm. So I do a lot of the consulting around IT and then leadership as well. So leadership consulting and IT consulting.
Now, when we look at this I tell people the tap in is universal and you can tap into your business. So how important is it for a business owner to announce what it is that they want to do so that you know how you can support them in an accountability sense?
So it is very important. I'm going to give you a couple different examples here.
Okay.
So just starting off with my VAs, right? As a business owner, when I at either a monthly meeting or an annual meeting, I communicate what our goals are, what our targets are for the year. They look forward to me as a leader to help them accomplish those goals, whether it's their personal goals or business goals for us, making sure that I'm holding myself accountable, because they will circle back with me that, Mandeep, where are you on a monthly basis? So I'm held accountable because out loud, I've communicated to the team what we're going to accomplish together. And it's always together, right? We've made the announcement. So now they're going to hold me accountable, but vice versa. For the work that they are responsible, I'm going to hold them accountable. So it's a teamwork, holding each other accountable.
Now, when a person is coming to you and they're announcing, like, let's just use me an example. As a solopreneur, Mandy, my files are all over the place. Is this something that you can tap into and help me get control of this mess I call a desk?
So yes, so a lot of the VAs will help you do that and get yourself organized and make sure you have a process in place. So streamline the processes, because when you have a process, it kind of by default helps you hold yourself accountable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but as with the VAs, we want to make sure. So I come into the picture before the VA comes into the picture. I make sure you're ready to hold to hire a VA. So
Mm-hmm.
making sure you have the right processes in place, and make sure that you are at the point where technology wise you can hire a VA, right? Because my VAs are in India, so we got to make sure you have the training as a business owner and you have the right processes set in place before I even transition you to a VA. Because a lot of the people, the reason they fail is because they don't have the processes in place to hire a VA. They want the help, they need the help,
Mm-hmm.
and especially from the the benefit, cost and benefit side of it. VAs are a great way to make sure cost efficient processes are in place, making sure work is getting done, and most of all, you're held accountable. Because a lot of the time, as I reflect back and I was reading through your book, is a lot of the time I'm the bottleneck, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the work, because I need to review something, I need to do something. So having a VA in place, they may keep my business moving. So they hold me accountable to keep on moving and keep on doing the tasks that I need to do so they could be successful as well.
Now, just for someone that maybe listen doesn't understand what we're saying, VA, we're talking about virtual assistants, y'all. Now,
There
it,
you go.
and with that said, you mentioned a little bit ago that your virtual assistants are in India, but that doesn't mean they're sitting somewhere in a basement just doing their own thing. Your ladies are actually coming to an office and are managed, correct?
Yes. So we have an office in India, New Delhi, and that's
Mm-hmm.
completely managed, full security, not only just armed guard security, because when it comes to labor laws in India for women, they're very strict because, like I said, it's hard for women to get into the workforce. So making sure that you have the right security in place. But on the flip side, even for my clients, we have all levels of security from internet to the way the files are being transferred. And even if a VA decides to leave for whatever reason, personal growth, whatever, your files, your information, your data is still very secure because it's under the company umbrella. It's not on nobody's personal computer.
Okay. Before we go any further, Mandeep, I'm going to take a little pause here and let us put up the book again for those people looking what the book look like. We are here book launching, soul searching. Get on board for transformation using the TAPIN Method, the second edition. Because why have one when you can have two? You know, sometimes you have a situation where you say, I wish I had said that. And thanks to all the women around the world that have tapped into their genius and have told me what they thought, I wrote this second edition just for them to fill in the gaps and to answer the questions that they thought needed to be answered. With that said, Mandeep, I'm so excited that you came here to answer some questions for me. Because here's, besides the fact that my desk is a mess, shh, don't tell nobody. I'm technologically challenged, Mandeep. So let's say, for example, I'm having trouble with this router thing over here. To me, it's a giant paperweight, but I know it's got issues. I
Mhm.
don't have issues. It has issues.
Of
Shh, don't
course.
tell. Can you assist me with that?
Yes, so I could assist you with that. That's where I would come into the picture. The VA won't. That's my
Mhm.
IT consulting side. So I would help
Okay.
you address that. And also any of the online services, right? These days, there's a lot of landing pages, there's a lot of websites. How do you put courses together? All that also can be done by our VAs. So, and then on the flip side, we have dedicated VAs, but we also provide customized packages. So maybe a VA is not the right solution for you, right?
Mhm.
So we will, if you're just doing, for example, if you're just putting together a course and you just need somebody for a simple project, a couple months, then we'll give you a package. And the
Mhm.
same with social media managers. You might not want somebody for, forever, and you need somebody just for a couple hours a day or a couple hours a week. So we will customize the package based off of your needs. But if you do hire a VA, I'll guarantee you it is a dedicated VA that only works on your account.
Now that's good to know because I'm kind of a mite much and I'm a little bit extra sometimes. So I might need somebody that's going to cater to my every whim. Because ever since I turned 59, girl, I'm like going, it's all about me. Forget about the world. You know, the sun does not come up until Brenda Warren rises. Y'all didn't know that, did y'all?
I'm figuring it out.
So, you know, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you're able to tap into whatever business needs that I need to make sure my small business runs efficiently and effectively. And you'll customize a program that's just for me.
Just for you.
You
Correct.
know, I like that because since today is all about me. Normally, I'm always highlighting everybody else, but today, for those of you that just tuned in, this is the book launch for Soul Searching. Get on board for transformation using the TAPIN Method. And today, I'm becoming a #1 best-selling author, and I'm so excited to have the experts that have agreed to come on and talk about different portions of the TAPIN Method. It is a 5-step. I got to get my words right. A 5-step strategic plan that allows you to get from here to there. It's going to help you tap into your genius because I believe every woman over 40 and everyone else should live unapologetically unstoppable. And with that, you know, you mentioned about labor laws and different things in India. How does what you're doing right now for the workforce in India help those women live unapologetically unstoppable?
Well, first it would be just sometimes just having people feel bad about working outside of the house. Ladies, they feel bad that they're leaving their kids behind, especially some because we work around the clock, right? It's 7 days a week. Our office is open 24/7 because the hours we will fit to the client's needs. So if you want your employee to work in the daytime, which is night there, so they're working the night shift according to India, right? So they work according to our needs, which not only helps them build their confidence because now they're stepping out of their comfort zone, but they're not letting nobody bring them down. Family restrictions, their husband, their whatever other restrictions they might have around them, they are stepping out of that to live their life the way they want to so they could fulfill their why, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, as a woman business owner, how were you able to tap in to the resources that you need to help you be successful yourself when you're helping everybody else solve their problems?
So I have people like you, Brenda.
Mhm.
So just stepping back a little bit, I met Brenda through one of my other friends, wellness friends, and she's actually my wellness coach as well. So we're on a mastermind together. And when I listen to Brenda's story, she's an inspiration. That I cannot say enough good things about her. There are days that I feel like, okay, maybe I should just throw in the towel. There's just too much going on. But then when Brenda comes on our masterminds and I listen to her, I'm like, my problems are nothing compared to her. So listening to her, she makes me accountable for my actions, for what I committed to, 5 years ago in my business, what I committed to do. It was not just, whether it was Brenda sitting on a couch or me just doing my corporate job, but I committed to something. And I committed to delivering to the women in India and the business owners in the US. I committed to my bigger why. And I'm holding myself accountable. And I do that by continuously announcing that in our masterminds, continuously setting my goals with my team, with my VAs, and even with my clients, right? They hold me accountable. So it's a 360, right? As you mentioned before, it's everything around you. It's not just one area of your life, but you could relate this method to almost anything in your life.
And you know, that's one of the things that I love about tapping. I feel that it is very universal and can apply to all the different areas that you have, be it spiritual, your spiritual practice being developed, your mental well-being, being your wellness, your finances, being an entrepreneur, changing careers, and there are so many ways to apply the tap in. Has there been one thing that as a woman business owner that you wish you had a tapped into earlier on in when you started your business?
I think accountability partner would have been the biggest thing. Right now, I have accountability partner, and Brenda is one of them, and we have one other person. There's three of us in a group, and we hold each other accountable. We will ask each other, okay, you committed to this. Where are you on this? We connect on a regular basis to make sure, as a team, as a group, we're not only supporting each other, but holding each other accountable.
You know, one of the things that we all talked about in the beginning when we started our mastermind was being on video, social media, things of that nature.
Mhm.
How comfortable are you on now? Because I mean, you're here, you're doing this. How has that been an evolution for you to have to tap into your own self to be more social?
So that's probably the biggest gain out of our mastermind because I hated doing live videos. I was not a social media person, but my accountability partners have pushed me and to make sure I posted something every single day. And if I didn't, they will ask me, Mandeep, we didn't see a post. And it helped me get out of my comfort zone. Now I'm not as afraid on camera. I could do a live on Facebook or any of the other platforms and not worry about, okay, how do I look? Did I use the right words? Did I say the right thing? It's become more of a flow. So it's helped me a lot.
That's good. We're going to take a break right here and show the book again to give people opportunity. Again, we're here at the Soul Searching. Get on board for transformation using that tap-in method, second edition launch party. The book will officially come out on March 10th, my grandmother's birthday. Why March 10th, my grandmother's birthday? Because throughout the book, I take you on a trip to grandmother's house because my grandmother had great wisdom. And I thought, what a better way to tell a story? I'm a storyteller, y'all. So I thought it would be good. You can pre order your copy in the Kindle version of the book today at brendadesolutionist.com, or you can go to Amazon and pull up Soul Searching, get on board for transformation using the tap in method. You guys, I am so proud of this edition that's coming out of the book because what I did was I closed the gap. Women all over the world have been using this book for book studies and learning to do a soul search and finding their reasons why. So, based on the input that I received via email, text, and messenger, I created this second edition. And I really want to thank all of you that have already purchased the book. And those of you that just may be joining, please go out to my website, brendadesolutionist.com, or go to Amazon and purchase the book. Mandeep, you know, I've been really excited about what we've been sharing in our mastermind that's helping me go to the next level because, as you know, coming up to the book launch, even I kept sending samples of things, asking you guys to check it out. And I've been really excited to see my own growth. Can you talk about how working with other women has helped push you to your next level and tap into your greatness?
Mhm. So all in corporate America life, it was always a competition. You know, the women next to you would always compete with you. You wanted to be a step ahead or a level ahead of you. Now, as a business owner and having accountability partners and working with individuals like you and other great business owners, um, it's really helped me grow as an individual. It's a in a way that I feel like if I succeed, they succeed. Or if they're succeeding in something, then I'm succeeding in something, right? For example, with you, I when I saw your cover last week, you sent when you were pre-planning, I literally got tears in my eye because I was like, I'm so proud of her because I've seen how hard you worked. And it's not that, it was my book, but the fact that you accomplished something that you dreamed of for so long, right? And you worked hard on it. And I see you work endlessly. For me, looking at other women and helping them succeed is an accomplishment for me. I see myself that I've been successful in something that I added value and giving back to something bigger than me, giving back to the community, giving back to women, giving back to business owners. If I see somebody else succeeding before I see myself or before, and if I'm not even in the picture, just seeing a woman be somewhere where we weren't years ago, or because she wasn't able to do it because of family or financial difficulties. for me, it's a huge accomplishment. It's changed my life over the last 5 years as I worked with other business owners, and I've hired women employees and watched them grow. I have a lot of employees that they will start their career with my company. They'll use it as a stepping stone for their career. But then I have individuals that have left my company to be top leaders in other companies.
That's
And
amazing.
so when I see that, I don't see it as why did they leave me? I see
Mm-hmm.
it as I built a great leader. And I am happy
Absolutely.
for their success because it's not just their success, it's every woman's success when we make these small advancements in our community.
I think it is your success as well, Mandy, because one of the things I tell people oftentimes when I work with clients is it's a ripple effect because it's about legacy. Because a lot of times we don't understand that what we put into someone else
Mhm.
may help them right now, but that person's going to go in to help someone else. And then it
Yeah.
just ripples and goes so on and so on and
Mhm.
so on. So you've created a legacy of helping other women. And I'm one of the women you can help. As a matter of fact, one of the things that you helped me with was my giveaway for this book launch. The Best Year Ever Blueprint was a thought in my head after I took a training with the Super Connector Media, and Jen Gottlieb talked about the Best Year Ever Blueprint. And I was so amazed with that class that I created my version of that. And then you helped me by getting it illustrated and all the things that happened. And then I created a flip book, and people have been talking about how great it is. So
Very
if it
nice.
was not for you, I would not have had such an amazing giveaway because you started at the very onset when I said I wanted to do it and took it to a level, and then I was able to take it beyond that. And I'm forever grateful for that. And with
Thank
that in
you.
mind, we're going to give you a break and rest your vocals while we let Francine tell you about the blueprint so you can see what an impact by you sewing into my life, how it helps somebody else.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Francine Cheret. I'm a friend of Brenda Warren, and she shared with me her blueprint for the new year. I was so excited to get it and to try it out. I wanted to go page by page and follow the direction. I had already done my vision board, but I thought, you know what, this blueprint will probably help me manifest even more what I want for 2022. And I was really surprised about how powerful it was for me that I really had to make like a commitment or a decision when I used the tools. And I reflected on 2021, what went well, what didn't go so well, and then on to 2022. But the most powerful piece of this blueprint is sort of leading up to it. And when you write a letter to yourself at December 31st, 2022, and what do you want to look back on? And then a great idea is to write a letter as if you were a year older and giving advice to your today person at the beginning of the year 2022. It really helped me clarify what I wanted. And, it was amazing. I mean, I just love doing the exercise of this blueprint. And I think I'm going to make it a practice to do it every year. So thank you so much, Brenda, for sharing this tool. It was really effective for me.
That's the power of community, because you were able to help me take it from just a Word document to a fully illustrated document. And we had the back and forth as I changed happy to glad and all the stuff, but you stuck in there with me. And then we were able to create something that a lot of people are downloading and using and finding great value with. And I am so thankful and grateful because without you, I could not have had the book launch that I'm having today. And I know that in our mastermind, you give such great advice. And that's one of the messages I want to get out today, is that no one succeeds alone. It's all
Mhm.
those people that sow into you and get you to push past what you believe is even possible to
Mhm.
get you to the next level. And I thank you that you're part of my sister circle, that you're part of the mastermind. And I'm just blessed to have you in my life and as someone that sows into me on a regular basis. And because I do not want you to leave without bringing in our other mastermind person, I want to bring in Dr. Denise Sincere with us to join this conversation, and then you can feel free to gracefully exit when you're ready.
Great. Well, thank you,
Because
Brenda.
I really do appreciate you spending this time with me today. But I wanted to come on because I think it's important that we have, just before we go into her segment, just a little sister circle of how we interact together, if you don't mind.
Yes, no, for sure.
My coach is working hard over there. I hope he knows that I have not seen him there, but I didn't want to interrupt because I see him talking, moving, and shaking. There you go. He's waving at me. So I'm going to bring him up a little bit later, but I'm going to give him the opportunity to do what he do because he's out in the background making sure that I'm an international bestseller. I don't like it when I say that. Are we going to bring Dr. Denise into the scene right now? Let's see if we get Dr. There we go. Hey, Dr. Denise.
Hello. Congratulations. I'm in deep. Congratulations, Brenda. I'm excited.
Thank you. I brought you on for the last few minutes on Mandy because we've been sitting here talking, but I want people to know that these are two of the women. There, if Lisa was here, it would be a perfect circle for me because these are the people that speak into my life on a regular. When you see me getting on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it is, I'm not even on that. These are the ladies that go, that ain't it, girl. You need to do that over. Or like last night at the last minute, when I was fixing a website and Dr. Denise was saying, that needs to be bigger. Move that over here. Turn that upside down. Change that color. Change that font. I was like, if she say one more thing to me. But she wasn't letting it go because she wants me to represent myself well. And when I represent myself well, I represent her well. So she don't feel bad about telling, yeah, that's my girl. Because if you tore it from the floor, people don't want to say, I know you. So I understand that when I put something out, I'm representing Mandeep. I'm representing Dr. Denise. Because when you say you're in association with somebody, people look at that.
Yes.
And so I'm excited to say that I'm in association with some pretty phenomenal women. And Dr. Denise, I'm so happy to have you here. Would you like to add something to the conversation that we've been talking in reference to Mandeep and her announce and accountability? And then we're going to go on to your section.
Yes, thank you so much for having me and sharing this time with Mandeep, fabulous ladies here. So yes, Mandeep was talking about the importance of accountability, and because we are in a mastermind and we do hold each other accountable, it's really, really important. First of all, I thank you all for being a part of my journey to success, right? And being able to share my gifts with the world. But having the accountability has really enabled us, right? And I see in other masterminds that I've been a part of to really get past those stuck points, right? If we had all the answers and we had no stuff, we wouldn't need accountability partners because we would already be, we've already achieved the big vision that we have for ourselves. So it works to not only do the brainstorming to help us, fully get clear on what we're trying to accomplish, but to really get past those stuck points. And to your point of last night, when you had those last minute, you needed some eyeballs on your information, sometimes we work on things so long, we don't see the errors, we don't see the corrections that need to be made. And having accountability partners that care about your success is so valuable. It's priceless to say, hey, yes, make this correction, or let me run this by my team, my mastermind, so I know that I'm showing up in excellence and being my best. And if there are any mistakes, you did your best. We all did our best because human error does happen at times, but it is through the community that we have and being able to say, we got you, girl. We're here to see you achieve. And it's any time of night. Now, not everybody has that privilege, but when you have accountability partners that are true accountability partners and care about each other's success, I mean, because the time you sent that message, when I looked at it, it was in my reading time and it was after my office hours. So
absolutely. And I didn't have no shame in my game sending it either.
Right. And I answered it quickly because I was actually in my reading time and I saw it come through. And oftentimes I read I read a certain way. Sometimes I listen to an audio and I have the book, and so I'm highlighting and taking notes. And I saw it come through. I said, let me get this done real quick, because I knew time was of the essence. And so I'm glad I've been able to help you in this journey, or to encourage you throughout this journey, and to see you here today. So yes, it's accountability, priceless.
And I want to point that out too, because there were a lot of people I could have sent that message to that time of night. Because it was, for those of y'all listening, I sent that message at 10:53 p.m. Okay, Eastern time. Now, and here's the thing: I did actually send it to two different people. One person was like, "I will talk to this. I will do it in the morning," but Dr. Denise did it right then and there, and she was on there for an hour with me, making sure as I kind of inchwormed that phone. And finally, she sent me a screenshot and be like, "Girl, get your head out your behind and fix it." And I was having an attitude, and then I had to remember, wait a minute, it's like almost midnight, and she is still, you better shut up and get the advice. But that's the difference of relationship. When you build relationships with people, real relationships, those are the women that's going to be there. See, the women you see on this screen right now are going to be the women you see with me in the Bahamas, in Spain, on a yacht. The rest of y'all ain't in the frame. Don't even think about it. I couldn't count on you now. You're not going to be looking for me later. I'm just keeping it real, because sometimes we don't tell the truth. People are happy to be with you when you're at your now, but they ain't nowhere at you when you're at your then. Mm-hmm. And see, I want to recognize the women that are the wind beneath my wings right now when I ain't got a thing. Because when I have it all, that's who I'm coming looking for. And when you have people like that in your corner, those people that I'm very blessed to say I am not surrounded by women that are yes women. These two women you see on this screen right now, for those of you that can view it, and if you're listening and hear the playback later on, I am in the presence of Miss Mandeep Kerr, the owner of Beyond Outsourcing, and Dr. Denise Sincero, the wellness mentor herself. These are the women that would tell me my stuff stinks. These are the women that would tell me, girl, you missed it. These are the women that tell me you're rolling dirty. You need to have people in your life that will tell the truth and shame the devil. Because if you don't, what you have is a bunch of people that will let you walk around like the emperor with no clothes on. But I can tell y'all I'm fully dressed, because I have people that will tell me the truth. Who out there? Come on. I need an amen corner out there with you people on Facebook. I know y'all have some people. And Samantha Wisdom Hill, I see you, girl. Yeah, she'll tell me the truth too. Don't get Sam started, because I'm like, Miss Focus James with her juicy conversation. She gonna tell you the truth. I am blessed to be surrounded like women like that. And I will surround myself with nothing less, because at this point in my life, I need those people that don't have braces on their brains and are willing to tell me the truth about me when sometimes I'm sitting with blinders on. With that said, before he gets back on the phone, I want to bring in my coach, because I want y'all to meet him before Mandeep goes, because he's another person that will tell me the truth about me, because we had a little rocky start there. But thanks to Coach, I'm going to be an international bestseller. Ladies, I would like y'all to meet Coach D. Emmanuel. Coach, this is Mandeep, and this is Dr. Denise.
Nice to meet you. It's an honor.
I'm not going to hold you long, Coach. I know you're doing that. I'll put you back in the what do you call that? The listening lounge.
I'm in the backstage, but hello, everyone.
Yeah, I wanted you to come on for a minute and say hello. These are two of the ladies that help me do what I do, that I vent to and will help me get it right. And for those of you that don't know, Coach D. Emmanuel, he is the gift activator. I said that right this time?
You said it right.
Oh, look, y'all know I be messing it up. Words be all twisted. But he is activating my gift and helped me do what I've been doing today to launch this book. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Coach, to get me to where I am right now. Would you like to tell the audience what you do and how you supported me?
Well, yes. So this was an awesome ride. When I picked
He's being nice, y'all.
Yes. Well, when I picked up Brenda's book, I was like, wow. Today a lot of people write books, but they don't write books, and they don't pour everything into that book. And when I picked it up, I was like, oh my gosh, this is definitely a bestseller. And so, while I would love to talk about me, I mean, really today, this is what I do. is I want to help you from start to finish to write the book, because that's the pivotal point. Get that foundation set, and then talk about how we're going to structure that book, and then market it and have an awesome pre-launch like this, and then later on be able to tell everybody that, hey, I'm a best-selling author, because that's what you're going to be announcing to everyone real soon, is that you're a best-selling author, because you put the work in, and no matter what came your way, you stayed in the fight. And so I always say, the fight is yours, but the battle is the Lord's. So you stayed in it, and you like made this a success. So congratulations to you, and hats off to you. I'm celebrating. I'm glad to see that you have an awesome support team here as well. So thank you.
I do. Well, thank you for coming on for this moment. I'll put you back down there. If you're ready to come up, just raise your hand. I'll bring you back.
Okay. All right.
And Mandeep, I want to thank you for coming for your half hour, because now it's time to get Dr. Denise and her expertise for the next step in the tap-in. Do you have any final thoughts for the audience before you go, Mandeep?
It was an honor, Brenda, to be here to help you in your journey. And it's an honor for you to tell me that I'm actually helping you. So thank you. Yeah. This is a great accomplishment for me as well. So it's not just you. It's not only your day. I'm just playing.
No, when one win, we all win.
No, as I said, if one of us wins, we all wins, because you guys, y'all saw the sweat, blood, and tears that went into the editing, the rewrite, am I missing something? And y'all were there to say yay, nay, or whatever, and to get over myself, because sometimes you just have to put the pen down because you want to keep writing. You're like, girl, enough is enough. Let it go. And so I thank you both for that. And Mandeep, I'll see you at the Zoom party if you're available. I know you're busy today, but whatever happens, thank you for coming to do the A in the tap-in.
Thank you.
All right. Dr. Denise, it's your show now. The wellness mentors in the house. Whoop, whoop.
Yes, so celebrate you, Brenda, for doing the doggone thing, girl. Because I can just, as we get started, I only know from being in the mastermind and a part of your process, the stress that you have endured to get this done, right? So when we talk about preparation and wellness, let's not ignore that, right? You're here smiling today, but it hasn't always been smiles.
No, and before we go any further, I have to do a shout out to Michael Bart Matthews at We Create Books, because he's out there going, you go, girl. He's over there on YouTube. Thank you for showing up, Mr. Matthews. Tell Miss Robbie I said, hey, Miss Robbie. Don't want to miss her, because Miss Robbie, behind every good, what is it? Every man is a good woman or something like that. I don't even know how to say it. But we know Miss Robbie's out there doing it. And so is Mr. Matthews out there making sure people do what they do. He's part of a group that is helping me be a collaborative author. I don't want to say the title because it may be shifted, but there's a process out there where I had to work through some issues, my daddy-daughter issues, and get through some things. And Mr. Matthews has been a great success for that. That was brought to me by none other than Miss Focus James herself, the focus of love. And she's always out there lifting other women up and making sure. I got Coach Emmanuel wants to come in. He can't hear. Hold on. Let me see. Add him to the stream. What's going on? You can't hear me?
There's an echo.
There's an
That's
echo.
A terrible echo. It's been going on for a little while.
Okay, I don't know what happened, because everything was fine for a minute. Is there something? Do you have two tablets on, Dr. Denise, or something?
No.
How about now, Coach? I pushed the button here. Let's see. I'm going to take you out, and you just wave if you still hear it. Okay, let's see. Thank you for letting us know. But right now, I don't have anything on. I didn't adjust anything. He left out the stream just in case. But, okay. Dr. Denise, the reason you're here for the tap-in, your expertise, we brought you in for prepare, because I know you're all about the preparation.
Yes.
I see him saying there's still a problem. Or we're good now. Okay, thank you, Coach. See, that's as good to have a team. You don't have to do it by yourself. You have people that's out there looking out for you, making sure everything is okay, making sure the sound's going on. And we're going to take, before we get started, Dr. Denise, we're going to go back here. We're going to throw the book back up to remind everybody that this is a book launch. And we want you to go out there and buy the book. It's soul searching. Get on board for transformation using the TAPIN Method, second edition. It was written to fill in the gaps for those women all around the world that are saying, hey, girl, I'm doing the TAPIN, but what about this? So I went in, filled in the gaps, and answer the questions. And right now, I'm about to talk to none other than the wellness mentor herself, Dr. Denise Sincere. And you get to talk about the P. And the P is all about preparing for your breakthrough. And since wellness is something that I actually cover in the book, I wanted you to talk about that. But before we talk about the tap-in, we got to talk about you. How do you help women tap into their wellness?
Well, I love to serve women of color who invest in themselves to enhance their journey as they enrich their lives and evolve into their best selves, and helping them do that through really prioritizing their wellness, putting themselves at the top of their schedule, making themselves a priority in their lives, and start pulling that power, their personal power, back in and use it for that which is going to enhance them and evolve them into their higher self. Because sometimes you can get so busy, you're spread thin across all the to-dos and tasks and delegate and handling other people's problems, and we oftentimes neglect ourselves, even though it may not be intentional. That's just pretty much what happens. And so I work with them to make sure that they are their priority so they can have the success and happy life that they so want to achieve in a healthy way.
I got people saying, this is a book launch, so you got to give me a second. I got people asking, is it time to buy the book? Yes, buy the book, y'all. Don't wait. We in the zone now. Go ahead, get that book purchased and keep it rolling. While you're helping women of color get it, have you found it hard to get, because, women of color oftentimes struggle with taking care of themselves because we're so busy, just the way our culture is, taking care of mama and them and everybody else. Is it hard to get them to take a step back and really tap into wellness?
Yes. Yes, it is, because I hear so often, just from all women across the board, but I hear so often, especially with women of color who are entrepreneurs, who are managers, who are in the executive suites, in their work life and in their profession, talk about, I'll do it when, I'll do it after, I'll do it later, or life happened, so I stopped. And then they continue with, or before they'll say, I'm so exhausted, or I'm frustrated, I'm so overwhelmed, I have so much on my plate. And even though they have a level of financial success or professional success and achievement, they are burnt out and stressed out, right? And completely overwhelmed. And so they're looking for a way to correct that without having it become a chore. And especially women of color, because not only as business owners and managers and leaders in our field, for some reason it's like it's almost like you need permission to take care of yourself, when really that should be first. How can you really take care of someone else and lead others if you are cutting yourself short? And so I really work with them to understand how necessary it is to put themselves on top of the list. And to that, can I do a book plug for you real quick?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Valentine's Day is coming up, right? We're at that time where people want to express love to lovers. How about expressing love to loved ones, to yourself, to friends, by buying this book for someone else so they can prioritize themselves by reading the book chapter by chapter and doing the work, so you can show up as your better self and thank the person who either purchased it for you or who encouraged you to purchase that book, right? We can grow together. We don't have to do it individually and by ourselves, because when we come together, as we spoke earlier about accountability, we can get to where we want to be faster and have someone that can help us course correct along the way. And that is also, part of preparing to show up fully and continue to be a woman of excellence.
Ooh, thank you, Dr. Denise. You see, I had Dr. Denise's information to follow her on IG is Dr. Denise Sincere. at Dr. Denise Sincere at IG. But before we go any further, Dr. D, please hold that thought, because I need to put Mandeep's information down here, because people are asking, who is that lady? Well, you follow Mandeep over there at IG, also at Beyond Outsourcing. Yes, she is the VA. They're calling her the VA lady. Got a whole bunch of stuff here in my iPhone. Who's that VA lady? That is Miss Mandeep Kaur, Kaur, at Beyond Outsourcing. You can find her on Instagram. Okay, so go find her, get you a virtual assistant, get you some office help, and keep it moving. But we're gonna get back to Dr. Denise here right quick here, because you can follow her on IG too. Dr. Denise, when we are talking about preparing for wellness, now you talked about how it's a struggle. You know, for me, I know you have gotten on me. We've talked about my macros and all this stuff, because I've got some issues. Don't tell nobody. Okay, you know, because I got a little bit of a sweet tooth. And as much as I want to get in shape and stay in shape, I actually have struggled with my workout and my eating over the past few months as I prepare for this book launch alone. What advice do you give someone like me that, you know, you say, I really want to get in shape, I really want to eat right, but the struggle is real?
Well, Brenda, good question. And that is a common issue for many women of color and around the world. Okay. So not just here in our lovely United States, but around the world, women are struggling with this. And what I say to them is, first and foremost, you got to figure out what you want. Right. And make that known. So going back to the announcing it and being accountable to the process comes, you know, that's a part of how I walk them through. But no matter what's going in your life, there's one thing that's consistent. That's you. Right. And if
see, I had to look on my face when she said that, like, what is me? Okay.
There's one thing that's consistent through all our lives, and that's us showing up. We are that common denominator. And so I understand firsthand, because I only share and mentor people based on my own experience and struggles along the way to beat diabetes, to lose the weight, and to really self-manage the levels of chronic pain that I live with, that you know very much about. So when they're talking to me, they're talking to someone who has to manage a lot of things in my own health and wellness, especially being a veteran, to be able to come out here and serve and share my gifts with the world. So to women who are stressed, whether they're writing a book, building a business, juggling family, career, or, you know, whatever it is take a moment, take a step back, and really look at what's important, because preparation comes for deciding what's priority. Right. So having so many things on your plate, clear some of that stuff off, delegate, right? I deal with women that, women leaders in their lives. And so delegate some of that stuff, or start allowing the people that you always show up for, give them a chance now to show themselves strong in their own lives, so you can show yourself strong in your own as you are going. So what I like to do is, if you can't make a workout today, and I'm not a fitness coach, so if you can't win a workout, don't beat yourself up. Because what we are also guilty of, and I have done this as well, right, is when we fail to, and probably I shouldn't use the word fail, but when we fail to show up and do the exercise or eat every meal, or eat according to our macronutrition, we stress ourselves out, because, oh my gosh, I didn't do it. Oh, I want to do better, but all these things were on our plate. And so what I like to share with women like you, and who women are in your situation, is don't stress yourself out, because you're adding insult to injury. Just get back on track as soon as you can and accomplish what you set out to do. And part of that is having things already prepared and in place, so you can have more success along the way, so you can keep in the process as you are on your journey, right? It's not an overnight thing. It is a process, and a process requires preparation every phase of the way, and so oftentimes day by day, until you get the momentum and it becomes second nature for you.
You know, I think I'm helping my one of my guests get on here. I think that's one of the things that we forget to do, is to give ourselves some grace. I know it's one of the things that I felt to do a lot of times, because I simply will find myself in a place of, just kind of kicking myself sometime when I don't think that what do you call it? When I feel like I've missed the mark because I work really hard I've set my alarm, and then sometimes I was just tired this past week and I just did not feel like doing it. And then one day comes into 2 days, comes into 2 weeks. So I wasn't prepared because I didn't make a plan. Could you talk about the importance of preparing a plan to keep your wellness on track?
Yes. So preparation is an indication of decisiveness and intention, right? You are deciding to execute on a vision that you have set or goal you have set for yourself. And when you have done that, you look at it from, a bird's eye view and say, what do I need to do to get started? What do I need to do to have the best success getting started? Because getting started process and preparation can be similar to picking up the momentum as you evolve through the phases, but every stage requires a level of preparation. So whether you're beginning at phase 1 or you're beginning at phase 3, preparation is key. And God knows I I know all about that. I've been through many phases, and I've gone through them time and time again, because I've reached and achieved different levels, and you have to get back to the preparation to go higher at every level. So, I tell women, listen, just get started. Oftentimes taking that first step, do it imperfectly and just get started. Because if you want it to be perfect starting out, you're going to stress yourself out. Adding more stress to your already stressed out situation, right? And you're going to continue to beat yourself up. And I have to say, I try, especially in my circle, you can attest to this. I don't, and if Mandeep was here, she can attest to this. I don't agree or permit, I don't agree or permit the women in my circle to beat themselves up in my presence.
That's an understatement. With that, we're going to take a pause right here and talk about the book again. Okay, y'all, today is a book launch. We are here for the launch of Soul Searching. Get on board for transformation using the TAPIN Method, 2nd edition. And if you did not know, this edition was forwarded by none other than the then doctor himself, Mr. Dan Tricarico. Oh my God, he is so amazing. And you need to go check him out on Amazon as well. He is an amazing writer. He is the Zen. Oh my God, he just keeps you so peaceful. His process of helping me declutter was amazing. I'll put some information in the comments about him, but you need to check out on the bottom of the book. You'll see his name and go check him out. He's a good author. Okay. We were talking about not letting women beat themselves up or basically sitting in their mess. Because, sometimes I can throw a pity party. I will bake the cake and put on a hat and blow out the candles. But I have, because of you, learned to limit those things. I think the longest you've ever allowed me to sit in the wallow, as I call it, was maybe 5 minutes. And that was pushing it. And I think that was that you were being generous that day. But normally I hear, get your head out your and keep it moving. Not cuss words, but just very clear that the pity parties don't work. And I'm thankful for that, because it's like the pattern interrupt that you provide means that I do have to be prepared. And so moving forward, what I've done for my own wellness was to start putting my wellness needs on my calendar. I actually wrote on my calendar to get up in the morning and meditate. I put on their prayer. I put on there the deep breathing, because I took a power breath class. Shout out, Lisa. A power breath class that helped me get grounded. I actually put lunch on my calendar because I had a tendency to just skip meals because I was intermittent fasting. I was doing keto diet. For those of you who don't know, keto is ketogenic diet. I was doing that, and I found out I wasn't hungry. And I think it's amazing that you can change your lifestyle for your eating, Dr. D, and still gain weight. Who knew? But when you're a woman of a certain age, you have hormone issues that if you're not properly prepared, you can mess yourself up by doing some things and throw your body out of whack. And although I was not eating, I guess basically my body said, girl, really? And I put on 5 pounds. That was not preparation at all because I didn't listen. Now, I will preface that by saying you did tell me not to do that, but I'm a little hard headed sometimes. You want to talk about what happens when people don't listen to your advice? Hey, Coach D, I know you're in the you hear this, right? You see, I got a pattern of not listening to when people tell me to do something. So don't feel bad. It ain't just you. Go ahead, Dr. Denise.
Well, as it pertains to wellness, depending on what a person's goals really are, whether it's health, physical, or some other wellness goal that they have, right? Because wellness covers multiple pillars. And so I wanted to make that clear. It's not just about weight loss or getting in shape. It could be financial, spiritual, mindset, because I do the mindset piece about it as is obvious as well. So when clients are not implementing and compliant, and I've been guilty of that as well in my early
looking around, right?
Yes. Right. It's often for a couple of reasons. Okay.
Not just being hard-headed?
No, well, let me share what it is. It's because we have so much information and we've done so many diets or regimens in the past that have worked at that stage and age of our lives that we think what we did at 25 is going to work at 50 or 45 or 60 for that matter, not taking into account the hormonal changes, the life changes that have happened, the amount of stress that, just from life that's on our plate. And so when I speak to my clients about implementing properly and where they are in their level of compliance to it, oftentimes it's because they've done something before and they're stuck in past results, not recognizing the full picture of where they are right now and what they need at this stage. And so it's a struggle. It's a struggle to shift old patterns into what you need now to move forward, which is why mindset is so critical as a part of your wellness regimen. So if you have one, to all those listening, if you have, you're trying to lose weight, trying to get in shape, you just want to improve your lifestyle. If your mindset is not a part of it, you're missing a very critical component and pillar to achieving that and maintaining that. So I understand. I've been there. There's nothing that I really take clients to that I have not experienced. I am the wellness mentor to help women be in charge of their lives so they can really show up fully and have a more enriching life. And I'm here to help them enhance that journey. But do understand, I too have not necessarily a mentor, but an accountability partner for my wellness who, and of course, let me say that these are paid accountability partners.
Say it.
Personal trainer, right, that I have been with for years. I've tried others, but I've come back to this one for years, who have helped me along the way because I can't see my blind spots. You can't see your blind spots. No one can really see the blind spots, right? That's why hiring a mentor and the appropriate coach to help you navigate those blind spots and along the journey is so significant. So, my goal is to help them overcome themselves, because you are really the mountain in your way.
Oh, I like that. I'm gonna write that down. The mountain in my way.
You are the mountain that's in your way that you have to move. And part of being prepared is really understanding what you want now, not what you had when you were 25. Because believe it or not, women often say, I need to be the size I was when I was 25. So you've had like 5 kids, you've been married, divorced, you have, charted your career, and you have taken off, and you want to do what at 25?
At 25, I needed a sandwich. I look like an Ethiopian refugee. No, I ain't trying to. No.
You see, so I'm like, how about, so we get caught up in what used to be, right? Or what someone else looks like. And I just want you and everyone else to know that how can you show up and be your best now? And whatever that looks like for you and the lifestyle you want to live going forward, let's prepare for that. Not once was, or what is and what you can achieve going forward. So it's a process, and that's why the mentoring is so important. It's more than just giving you nutrition, as you well know. It's about dealing with this, because until you conquer this, the rest is just going to continue to be a constant struggle and frustration. So,
and for those of you that are listening, when she was talking about this, she was pointing to her brain as in your mindset for those who are listening. But I want to go back to something I think is really important to point out here, because this is something we deal with in the mastermind. It is important, and I want everybody listening. Okay, clutch your pearls here. It's important to invest in yourself. We have got to stop trying to get everything for free. It is true. You get what you paid for. When you need a coach for writing, you go hire Coach D'Emmanuel. When you need a coach for wellness, you hire Dr. Denise and you pay for their expertise. It is important that we stop all this trying to get something for nothing. These people have experience. They are tried and true. They put in the work to help you get from here to there. And oftentimes, what I found for myself was there was no way I could have understood. And I would just put myself on blast because, here I do a thing called Face It Friday where I bring in an expert and I deal with the things that I struggle with because I want people to know everything's not perfect. We get on Instagram or LinkedIn, YouTube, all these things, and the hair is done, your lipstick's done, but life is messy. Behind the scenes, we're forgetting that we had to come from a certain place and had to elevate our minds to be prepared to do what I'm doing right now. There was a time, if you'd have told me I'd have paid somebody $100, $200, whatever it is, an hour for something, I'd have said you're on hallucinogenic drugs. But the reality is, when you want to get to that kind of level, how could I expect somebody to pay me $10,000 for coaching when I wouldn't pay $10,000 for coaching? See, I'm talking about going to the next level. You have to begin to understand where you want to go. So for some of you out there that may be listening about the book launch or whatever, when you come to this channel, whenever you hear me on Talk to Me or on any of my channel, I'm going to keep it real with you. As Pastor Maxine Williams would say, answers, no filters, because it's time out for pretending that people have time to sit and listen to your BS or coach you for free. You have to begin to invest in yourself, and you invest at the level that you are. If you're at $100 coach, then invest in $100 coach. But if you can afford the $500 coach and they bring some value to you, then invest at that level. You start with, because there was a time I couldn't afford a $500 coach. Okay. And that would have been out of my budget. But there comes a time when I had to take a stretch goal and say, I can't afford this, but I'm worth it. I put that thing on my credit card. 14 days later, I paid it off, because what the coach did for me was allow me to shift my mindset to such a degree that I began to make the money that I could afford that coach. But see, had I stayed back here thinking all I can do is a $25 coach or a $50 coach, that's where you go to. People will coach you at the level they're at. And you have to begin to elevate your thinking about what you're worth, what you're willing to invest in, who you're willing to. I say vet them out. Every $500 coach ain't the same. Every $10,000 coach is not the same. And that's why I love being in the masterminds that we in, because you pay for the environment and you're at a level with people that have elevated their mindset to a place that there are no limits. And I thank you for helping me bring up my mindset about what's possible, about my own value as a coach, my own value as a woman, and helping me prepare to take it to the next level. Because I clearly, and put it on record, though, listen, y'all better clutch your pearls, because I'm telling y'all this. There will be a day when people put me on retainer for $12,500 a month. Don't scream when you hear that. But that is a coach that I had worked with. When she told me how much her charge was, I almost choked. I'm like, what are you going to do that nobody else is doing for that amount of money? Well, you have to take the coaching to find out. So you have to get to a place where you say, I'm worth the investment. But why I say that, I want y'all to hear this. I didn't have to pay that for that coach. Why? Because I serve an awesome God. That coach was my coach because I became the grand prize winner of the Be on TV challenge. I did not even know people cost that much for 1 month of coaching. Mm-hmm. Do you hear what I'm saying? But what happens when you're exposed to something, you realize that it's even possible for you. Dr. Denise, would you like to talk about preparing for the next level?
Yeah, so I'm going to continue on the lines of investing in yourself. As I said in my open here, that I only deal with women of color who invest in themselves, right? Because you don't want to be, you don't want to align yourself with someone that you have to like pull their teeth to get them to show up for themselves, right? That's work that I don't have time and energy for. People come to me who are ready. They're not still thinking about it. They are ready to get moving. And so whether it's wellness, well, I'll say this: wellness should be a part of your success plan, no matter what level you are or stage you are in your life. It should be a continuous part of your success plan, because stress is happening, life is happening, and things can throw you off track. And if you don't have someone that's dedicated to speak to help you, make sure you're taking your, care of your mental wellness, your physical, your nutritional wellness, financial wellness, whatever that is, right? And making sure you're also showing up in your business fully. You're really setting yourself up for a longer and more arduous journey. So we don't want to do hardship here, right? So really take the time to invest in yourself, and if it scares you, good. Because I have hired many mentors, like you said, where I was like, say what? And I was like, whoo, it took me a minute to breathe. And I was like, you know what? Next level. Because where I am wasn't enough to serve me to evolve. And everything that I have first done, right? Because I'm not out here talking theory. And as you know, everything I have first done, I've done it to advance and enhance to enrich my life and enhance my journey. And I get certified. And, I'm always, well, not always, but I'm continuing to study to evolve myself so I can improve my life and show up better for clients. And so investing in yourself is really, really important. The other thing I would say about investing that costs no money, but it will cost you. As I recently shared in our mastermind, I'll put it out here in the open, right? Because I want someone to leave here today from this awesome book launch to not only buy the book and do the work. You can even do it as a team or a book, what do you call those? A book club, or with people in your household, and you're in your mastermind. You form one if you don't have one. Form of women who are going to get on board and do the tap-in process in your life. Buy the book and start taking 20 to 30 minutes a day
Excuse me.
to detach from stress and say, I'm just going to be with me. Clear your mental clutter, get your body to release the stress from showing up and all these things on your plate. Even if you pick up the book and go sit in the corner and read for a minute, or turn your back to your screen or to the side and just read a chapter. Whichever chapter you need at that moment, you owe it to yourself to continue to invest in yourself, so you can go higher and enrich your life and be grateful that you have done so in the end. So Brenda, congratulations for all the work you've put in to be here. The book is awesome. I have highlighted stuff in the copy that I have.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I love you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you for being here with me today. And I just wanted to say, I value all the time that you took to make sure that this book launch is a success. I thank you for our fellowship, for our friendship, and for always putting your foot up my butt when necessary.
we have to be honest to the audience, right? They have to know for sure.
That's what I say.
When I met Brenda, and I hope it's okay that I do. When I met Brenda,
Donovan will be right with you.
Okay.
Donovan's going to be my pitch hitter. So easy. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it is worth the wait to hear Mr. Donovan West. He's hanging out there with me. He's going to close the show out. But go ahead, Dr. Denise.
I have to say this. So when we met over a year ago, right, from the BC on TV challenge, when we realized that we were both Marine Corps veterans, we automatically knew there was a standard and an ethic that we by, just by code of being a female Marines. So there's an unspoken expectation of how we need to show up and be accountable. And so it doesn't take long for us to say something to each other to really say, okay, I know what cloth you're cut from. Okay. Not that we speak Marine to each other, but what's in us is in us. And it'll take you, the distance. So hence why you're here today with your book.
Yeah. And I appreciate it. Dr. Denise Sincere, thank you, the wellness coach, for coming up here with me today and making sure that this book launch is a success. I hope to see you at 5 p.m. For those who listen, some of you have already been trying to get into the Zoom, and we said it was a party, but we're not starting until 5 o'clock. So you guys are going to have to come back and join us at 5 o'clock for the Zoom party, where we're going to celebrate my becoming a #1 best-selling author. And I thank you all for your support. Dr. Denise, I'm going to put up the banner so I can bring Donovan up, and we're going to let you out. And thank you again. Do you have any closing thoughts for the audience?
For the audience, buy the book. Buy the book. As a love gift to yourself. It's Valentine's Day. Buy yourself a gift. Buy one for your lover. Buy one for your friends. Buy the book. Do the work and talk about it so y'all can grow together.
There you go.
Thank you.
That's right. Tap in to be prepared. Thanks, Dr. D. All right. We're here for the book launch of Soul Searching. Get on board for transformation using a TAPIN Method, 2nd edition. And I'm so excited. Like Dr. D said, girl, buy the book. Buy it for a friend. Buy it for a lover. Buy it for a frenemy. Just buy the book. I am so excited to have none other than Mr. Donovan West here. Wednesdays with Wes is my addiction, because on Wednesdays, Wes will talk about everything relationship, everything sex, which is why I gave him this portion of the tap-in. Donovan's going to help me close out the show with the last 2 letters and tap in the N, because if you're in relationship, you need Donovan West, because he's going to help you deal with self, not somebody else, but he's going to help you deal all about YOU. Donovan, welcome to the show.
Brenda, thank you for having me. I really appreciate that.
You know, I could not have done this book launch without the people that helped me be a better version of myself. And you are one of those people. Because of my interaction with you, I have understood the importance of how I show up in relationship, but mostly how I show up for myself.
That's right.
And when women are being taught to tap in, that's what I'm talking about. I want women to live unapologetically, unstoppable. I want them to have relationships that light them up, that fill them to their fullest. But I understand that sometimes that's not possible, because some women or men can't even imagine themselves in a healthy relationship. And I hope that we'll talk about that in that portion of the tap-in. But before we do, we got to do what we do. The first thing we got to do is talk all about YOU. Donovan, tell everybody what you do and why you do it.
Well, Brenda, what's the best way to do it? I guess in a nutshell, right? It all comes down to amplifying ambition. Bottom line, right? That's really what I do in that space. So, but before you can get to that place, right, you got to know, what are you amplifying? And the first thing we have to do is we have to take some kind of inventory. We have to figure out, okay, here's what you actually have towards that thing that you want to do. So in this situation, when we first met, it was about, okay, just having some conversation about your book, right? The first iteration of it. And I took a left turn, didn't I? Right?
Woo! Left turn. Child, you took a total detour.
But part of the reason for that is that, when you find out what it is that you want to do, the goal for us is to really find out, okay, well, what do we have in the way of your toolkit, if you will, right? To actually get there. So what are your supplies, right? What is it that you can that you can leverage in order to get to that next level? So in many ways, I'm a solutionist in my own space, right? Just as you are a solutionist in terms of getting people to really take that same kind of inventory, that introspection that is necessary for them to get to the next level. So in the professional space, in terms of, CCS, culturally congruent solutions, we provide solutions that are culturally congruent when it comes down to diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, and then also, of course, workforce development, executive coaching, communication coaching, crisis management, right? All these other components to being effective in your workspace, or also, as an entrepreneur. And then on the other side, we have BBA, right? Black Business Accelerator, where we amplify ambition by way of taking inventory of you, the business owner, and identifying where the bumps and bruises, the blemishes are, and getting you to the next level by way of creating higher levels of of accountability through assignments, right? And then, of course, access to the necessary resources you need to get to the next level. Under culturally congruent solutions, you heard me talk about communication. And under that umbrella, that's where TRS, the relationship script, came into play, and all of that, coaching around, relationships and communication. That's where that took place. So for those that are walking into the space, you got to first ask a couple of simple things. Number one, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to achieve? And for many of the people that are reading your book, right, they have that in mind in terms of a thing that they want to achieve, something that they want to accomplish, another level of development. And I'm happy for all of those that have purchased the first iteration of that book, that they were able to be successful in their journey. And now with this latest iteration, right, I'm excited, by the way. And if you don't know, I'm so excited. You see, these are notes. Okay, these are notes. When I look at my notes, I think about, what, maybe I should have just wrote the book over again, because clearly I took so many notes. It'd probably be easier to see what word or two I didn't already write down myself. So
right.
But congratulations to you in that space. So again, going back to the first thing, what is it that you actually want to accomplish? And then taking inventory of what it is that you have towards accomplishing that. And for many people that are watching right now, they are considering, or they already have considered your book as part of the tools that they need to get to the next side, right, or to the next level. And then, of course, your why. Why are you doing it? Why is it important? Is it urgent? Is it time sensitive? Right? These are the things that drive the level of, I would say, discipline, right, and the level of commitment that they have to demonstrate regularly. And so, we get into that space also from an accountability standpoint. And I'm happy that there's so many components to your book that, again, helps people to be accountable, right? To actually say, you know what, we're going to get out of this ideation stage or this conceptual stage of what the next level is. And now we're going to put pen to paper. Now we're actually going to plan our way to that next level. So again, salute to you on that, because, I'm a person that likes to dissect things. I think you know that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've been dissected a few times.
That's
and
right.
I'm scrolling down for those who are listening and those who are watching. I'm scrolling Donovan's IG information. Donovan, would you look at that? Does that look correct to you? The relationship
That's
script.
correct.
Where you can find him, and you can go to check out his IG account, and there are a lot of good stuff on it. You can also see where he dissected me when I was a guest on his show, and some other things we've done. Donovan, you also are a radio host. Would you like to talk about
That's
that
right.
for a minute?
Yeah. So I co-host alongside my partner in crime, Carol Riddick, on WURD on 96.1 FM and 900 AM. There's a show, it's called Love and Life, where we talk about love and life. Every week from Thursday through Sunday, you'll actually hear different episodes where we talk about couples love, couple life, single love, healthy love, healthy life, and sex love, sex life. So I'm so happy that, you were able to join me as a guest and, really spill the tea. I say spill the tea, not just share it, but, you had it all over that 2 hours. Everyone was well informed in terms of where you were coming from a very transparent and vulnerable space. And that's all that we can ask of you, when you show up. And thank you also for making sure that, speaking of being transparent and vulnerable, as I've read different sides of, and I say sides because, literally, I started, what I did to the book is disrespectful. But anyway,
It's okay.
I read different sides of it and said, okay, this one I can definitely see that's all you, that's all your DNA. And congratulations for pouring yourself into the book in such a way that people get a piece of you and not just what I would call a research paper. Something that really differentiates what you wrote versus what others wrote in this space is that they're getting a piece of you, the proper context for what's taking place in that environment, not just some statistic or something that you may have searched on YouTube or something like that. And thanks again for bringing that to to this platform.
Well, hold that thought for 1 second while we bring the book up. Just as a reminder, this is a book launch for soul searching. Get on board for transformation using the TAPIN Method. That is the second edition. It's where I fill in the gaps based on the questions that came in from women all around the world that read the book and said, hey, Ren, what about this? Or that didn't sound a little bit realistic. Can you really address that? So I made the changes, made the updates, and I'm really excited that I did pour myself into making sure that people can tap into their best life now. With that said, before you say another word, Donovan, I'm going to ask people to, if you have any kids in the room, you better move them out now or put some earphones on them, because we're about to have an adult conversation. Grown folks only allowed. So we're going to give you a minute to get the kids out the room, because it's important that when you get to this portion of the tap in, because this is the portion, Donovan, where I talk to women about sex, love, marriage, divorce, and all of that stuff. And although I was not as graphic in the book, tap in, my next book coming out will be very graphic, and it's all about relationships and how we are not always honest about what we want, what we're seeking to have. And that's what we did when we went on your show. We had an open, honest conversation about sex, because it's my contention that sex is not a dress size, and that everyone that's in a committed, healthy relationship should have sex that makes the angels blush. So that'll be more discussed in my next book. But for the tap in part, the I and the N is about visualizing yourself in a healthy relationship. And then the N is nurture, where you nurture your entire tap in process and nurture those things that you say you value. And so I thought, if you could you talk about how you facilitate helping people tap in to their best relationships when they come and talk to you?
Well, as you know, the number one thing we have to do is we have to break down certain things before we build it back up. So that part doesn't necessarily feel, comfortable, right? People, when they walk into a space, especially when you start talking about like from a relationship coaching or communication coaching space, the focus is on how much they can present like they're mostly okay and they're just in for something that's minor, right? It's kind of similar going into the doctors and saying, oh, you have a slight cough. In the meantime, right, you actually may have meningitis or something to that effect, or you may have a certain kind of cancer or something to that effect. The goal in that first moment is to establish trust, right?
Okay.
If I can trust you, then I can be more transparent with you. And the reason for that trust is so that I can be able to actually have the dialogue with you in a way that is going to be really vulnerable and take you to places that perhaps you don't want to go, but at this point in this stage in your journey, is necessary to go, right? So that's the first part, is the trust. And through the trust, then you can actually also be, what I would say, without fear of judgment, right? Without fear of judgment, being persecuted for moral reasons or whatever may be the case. We want to make sure that at the end of the day, you're able to feel comfortable that whatever it is that you're about to share, that there's no judgment being passed upon you. You're not going to, I'm not going to look at you sideways or whatever. So we want to establish that level of trust. And then once we get to that space, now we start to have some more dialogue about the dents, the bruises, the blemishes, the crisis, the traumas that you've experienced that have shaped pretty much how you engage in relationships today. Somebody that is in front of you is going to say to you that they're okay and all is well. That's not the truth. All of us are damaged goods. There's just the degree of damage and how often we've been damaged. And that's just a fact of the matter. So the goal is to really have that kind of conversation and say, okay, can we go back to some of the things that may have influenced those traumas or the crisis, and why now, as a result of that, you tend to create now this new reality, which is based off what I call it's like an SOS, right? It's a survival operating system. And that survival operating system, you like that,
say
right?
that again, survival. I'm doing it. Survival operating system.
Yes. And that's where we do what we need to do. Thank you very much. That's where we do what we need to do to survive certain situations. And it's very necessary, by the way. So if you were abused, if you've gone through, whether it's mental, physical, it doesn't matter what that kind of abuse is. If it's been situations where you've been ostracized, and you have not felt like you were accepted or you were part of anything, right? Whether it's a family or even just accepted at your workplace, there are certain things that develop, right? You develop a certain kind of complex, but these are survival operating systems that we typically deploy in order to survive that situation and still not, stay within a functional space. The problem is that none of us know how to turn it off, right? None of us know how to turn it off. We typically, once we turn it on, that's just who we are, because the reality is to turn it off means that we now make ourselves more vulnerable again. And who in their right mind is going to want to do that? Oh, I want to be more vulnerable. I want to be more open and exposed to the potential of hurt or pain or anything along those lines that will, make me feel like a victim again. So that SOS is an operating system that typically dominates all of our, attitudes and behaviors and our belief system, to the point where we start to negotiate what it is that we do when we do engage in a relationship of any kind. We negotiate levels of trust, levels of honesty, of transparency, all because what? We want to protect ourselves, because we never want to have that or go through that feeling or that situation again. So that's the reason why the trust factor, right? The ability to be able to say, you know what, I do trust you in this initial stage of the process in terms of, uncovering or peeling back the layers to what it is that you've experienced, is so important, because the next thing after that trust, after I say that I do trust you and I actually am trusting you, that's when I come into that same space and I say, okay, you know what? I need two things from you now. I need your permission, right? And then I'm gonna need your commitment, because with the permission is so that we can actually have dialogue about these specific things that may really have been the catalyst for where you are now, right? Emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And then the commitment is to continue through the process, right? We may hit that and say, oh, I'm tapping out, right? You talk about tapping in, right? No, this is not a tap in, it's a tap out situation, because you got too close. I want to give up. This is the reason why I don't X, Y, and Z. And you go down that rabbit hole of frustration, despair, and discouragement. We don't want that, right? We want to make sure that at the beginning of all of this, we understand that there has to be a commitment that regardless of what we uncover, we will continue to keep our feet moving. So in this whole process of making sure that we get to that promised land, if you will, we need to make sure we establish the trust. We got to make sure that we also have permission to go forward, that there's a commitment to go forward, and that as we peel back the layers, that we're in what I would call a spirit of continuous improvement. That is, regardless of how well you're functioning, how much money you're earning, or how you may be well accepted or famous, or whatever may be your situation, regardless of that, the reason why you and I are in that space is to simply just get better, right? Simply get better, simply go deeper when it comes to levels of communication and transparency in the relationships that you endeavor to show up in more as your authentic self. And there's one last thing you mentioned, right? I am not in that space for you to actually strategize how to get a particular person, right? I'm not here for that. I'm not here if you're saying, hey, there's this person.
Did not figure that out.
Right. You already know, right? You already know.
Yeah, I know.
If you got someone in your crosshairs that you desire to, to get with, that's great. I wish you the best of luck with that. But I'm here to deal with you in terms of, how are you approaching it? How are you looking at it? How do you regard yourself? How are you navigating through this? And then also, how are you approaching this in a manner that demonstrates improvement, that demonstrates progress, as opposed to a more sophisticated version of the same OU, right? We're not looking to create, or should I say recreate, reheat, your overall attitude and behavior towards this whole situation, like we reheat something after Thanksgiving, right? That's not what we're here to do. We don't want to turn your behavior, your personality into just a casserole and say that you're doing something new. You're not doing anything new. It's just a remix. So our goal is not to do that. It's to be constructively critical of what is it that you're doing and how you're perceiving things, so that again you can change that dominant logic towards why you're looking at things a particular way, and of course get to the core of it, because without getting to the core, all we'll do is we'll just keep responding to these other things that are ancillary and pretty much on the outside, but never getting to the root.
I got a lot of people in here talking, who is this guy? Like, there, you can reach Donovan there at the bottom of your phone. There's how you can reach him on Instagram. And I think that it's important while we stop right here, Don, because you've been so instrumental in how I even changed the way I coach women and things. And we're going to stop to give you a break for a minute, let you rest your voice, and play something from
Hey guys, it is Coach Nikia checking in. I just wanted to give this review for Miss Brenda Warren, the Solutionist. So if you have not checked out Brenda, the Solutionist on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, you definitely want to follow her. Oh, also Clubhouse. Make sure you're following the Solutionist, Brenda Warren, on Clubhouse. She is always giving out gems. She definitely is a help for women who are struggling to be unapologetic, unstoppable, guys. You listen, this is the year 2022 where you want to be unapologetic about who you are, what it is you do, and unstoppable force to reckon with so that you can grow your business. So if you need a solution, you want to hit up Brenda the Solutionist. She will get you straight, guys. I appreciate her and everything she's doing. Mainly she works with women over 40, but she does make exceptional for millennials like myself. So y'all definitely want to check her out. She is great.
You know, Donovan, I have all these different women that come to me and I'm teaching them about the tap-in and helping them live their best life now. But the truth be told, I wasn't living my own best life, even though I wrote the book. And that's the thing I want people to understand. You don't have to be perfect. Your life doesn't even have to be perfect. You just simply have to show up and do it because we have blind spots. It's often easy to see what other people need to do and then find that you're not doing that yourself. And I want to say thank you to you for helping me see my blind spots, because I feel like I'm going to be a better partner because of having worked with you. And prior to that, I don't think that I had the mental capacity or the emotional depth to be honest in a relationship that I have now, because for those of you that don't know, Donovan is my coach. And I did not see, Coach. I do have more than one coach. I have coaches, and I actually listen to some of them. Donovan calls me on my BS on a regular because I wasn't listening to him either. Yeah, there's a pattern. Anyway, I digress. The thing about it is that I came to you thinking, because you said relationship coach, you're going to tell me how this other person's going to be fitting into my mold and everything. But what you really did was made me stand in front of a full-length mirror and look at self. That's right. How I show up in relationship, not just a love relationship, but my friendships, my family interactions, and that has been invaluable to me. But also when we talk about the intimate relationships with someone, that was eye-opening for me. Because although I'm very transparent, ain't no shame in my game. I decided a long time ago I don't have to apologize to anybody for who I am and what I've done. But I realized that I was not being honest with self. And as we begin to peel the layers back on that, I've been able to really look at myself in a way that allows me to continue to do the tap-in for myself. So if you could you speak to how you help people like me really take an honest look at themselves?
Well, again, it goes back to, do you have the courage, right? And where are you in your journey where you can actually start to think about an alternate outcome to some of the things that you may actually profess for yourself. So here's a good example, right? Many times we talk about, very good example, and that is, we're all animals at the end of the day. We're the highest form of species of an animal, but we're animals. And the reason why I say it is that, we guide ourselves off of our senses, right? We talk about the senses that we have all day. And if we don't have senses, right, there's a term that we use. It's called crazy. Okay. If you don't have your senses, you're crazy. You're senseless, right? And so those who don't have their senses, we tend to have to take care of them, right? We put them in hospitals and other types of facilities to assist those who don't have their senses at all, if it can't be medicated, right? And I'm going somewhere with this. And the reason why this is important is that when you sense something, right, sense something in terms of how you're behaving or something that you anticipate from an anxiety standpoint or just a plain fear factor, it's important that you experience what it is that you're talking about, right? Because no one wants to feel like they were wrong after they prescribed, right, that they were going to be in this kind of situation or have a certain kind of experience. And that's
Right.
important to understand. And also, it's something that's very detrimental to many of us in terms of our journey. So whenever you start having these levels of fear or anxiety around what you're going to experience in your next relationship, those things are actually going to come to pass. It doesn't matter what it is. If you fear that this person is going to do you harm, if you fear that this person is not doing you right, if you fear that you're not going to be accepted, you will focus on everything you can to make sure that you get the evidence to support that, right? So there's a component of that from a scientific standpoint, just in case people are looking and listening and saying, okay, this guy sounds like a preacher. There's a scientific component to it, okay? There's an area in the back of your vertebrae, right? And it is called the reticular activating system. And this reticular activating system, it captures your consciousness and your subconscious before you go to sleep, as you wake up. But basically, it's wired towards one major thing, and that's your beliefs. Okay, so if your belief is that everyone is going to do you harm, you're going to actually look for and process information to support that. And that's what the reticular activating system is. It's a lens that processes information around us to support the things that we actually believe. So any one of you, you can listen to this, replay it, you can look it up for yourself. That's what it does, is it because there's so much information around us right now as we speak. If you were to look around, your eyes are only going to pick up the things that you're interested in, the things that you value. So if you're hungry, you're going to notice the food. If you're into like material things, you're going to notice that pretty bag or some nice shoes or whatever. If you are, if you're fearful of some harm coming, you're going to stare at that door more than normal. That's what your brain does. It actually synthesizes and breaks down information around you to support the things that you support. Why is it so important? It's important because as you go down this path of actually, rediscovering yourself or improving yourself, the first thing you have to do is you have to re-examine your belief system. And if you believe that as you are now, that you're right, that you're accurate, and that all things are a certain kind of way, you just need to make a small tweak, then that's the degree to which you can actually change or modify as well. It's going to be equal, all right? It's going to run parallel with your level of desire to change, or the level of openness to being wrong in terms of what you currently see. So that's the first thing. You have to have the courage to question the things that you're experiencing so that you can go another layer deeper and say, well, why do I believe that? Why do I think that way? What events or number of situations or experiences have I experienced to guide or to shift why I look at things a certain kind of way? And am I willing now to disarm those things? And I say disarm, detangle these things, because if not, if unattended, they stay intact and live like an emotional mind, right? And we talked about that briefly, and I won't go into greater detail because there are certain people in the audience who may actually be very sensitive about the whole concept of a mind or whatever, but I won't go there. But what I will say is that it exists within all of us. The things that we don't address tend to still stay very live with us. And it goes to another term that I use, right? Where we preserve the pain because we have not broken it down. We have not disarmed that actual emotional mind. So we preserve the pain and it becomes a trigger for us. So again, the process starts with having the courage to say, you know what, maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Maybe there's an alternate reality that I can experience if I'm willing to shift some things in my belief system, because clearly there are things that have shifted my belief system where I look for a certain thing to support some of the fears and anxieties I have. Why? Because I have a need to make sure that my senses are accurate. It doesn't make you right. It just means that your senses are picking up the things that you believe. That's all it means. It doesn't mean that really what's out there is something that doesn't exist. No, it actually does exist. It's just whether or not you're interested in identifying those other things that may, again, be contrary to what you really believe. So in your soul searching, you cannot soul search without first thinking, there may be things as I search my soul that I may not like, that may actually be ugly things about myself that I may want to fix or adjust or modify. And if I'm not willing to do that, then I'm actually going to lose out on this whole soul searching process altogether. Because why? I'm already editing it so that I can preserve a certain kind of self-esteem about myself or a certain kind of image about myself. And that, my friend, is very detrimental, because that's really the antithesis of growth. That is you really ensuring that you're going to stay stagnant in your development. And we need to be very careful to not do that. And while it is very scary, by the way, it's not easy, right? The small print, I'm gonna make it big print. And that is, it's not easy to go down this journey because there's a lot of tears, there's a lot of hurt. You talked about it. And since you put it up, I'll reiterate. There's been a lot of pushback. There's been times when you're like, Donovan, I don't like you. We're not doing this.
Absolutely.
And you know,
Coach, you hear that? I want my coach to hear that. Coach, you hear that? Donovan, I don't like you. Okay, he heard it. Okay.
So yeah, Brenda, you've done that. You know, there's been times where, you know, again, tears on top of tears, and we you know, there's times where I had to ask you, hey, did we go too far? Pause. Do we go any further? So again, you've made amazing progress, and I love the fact that again you're living through that transparency in terms of, you know, I think in many ways when you did this version of it, you know, you're going deeper, and then, you know, this next version that's coming out, I'm extremely excited. Even though I make sure that my daughter don't read it anytime soon. I'm just saying. I don't know if she's gonna be ready for
No,
it, but,
you know, Donovan, you can assure,
yeah.
I assure you that the second iteration social is an expansion of what I've done, but I've saved all the stuff like that happens on Wednesdays with Wes for Confessions of a Side Chick. Don't tell nobody. But what I do want to highlight here at this point is that you talked a little bit earlier about preserving the pain. And if I can say one thing you did for me was my mindset shift around that, because see, I couldn't even imagine my life without all the pain that I was struggling with or that I was preserving within myself. And I have a little illustration for those of you that can see this. And for those of you listening, I'll try to talk it out in a way that you maybe can see it. This right here is my stressy. You see him? Isn't he cute? He stays on my desk. And when Donovan said to me I was preserving the pain, y'all, I had an attitude and a half. I actually wanted to cuss the brother out, but, you know, I knew better because he kind of big, you know, so I knew not to do that. And he don't play that because Donovan don't let you use bad words with him. So, okay. But so what I did was I took my little stressy, I put him in my hand, and for an entire day, I carried this little purple thing. For those of you listening, I have a purple thing in my hand. He's got a big eye with little lights. You see, he's so cute. Anyway, I carried this little purple thing around. I did not set this purple thing down. Donovan, I told you about it all day long. I kept it when I went to the bathroom, when I washed dishes, when I put my clothes on. Imagine holding this thing in my hand all day. And then at the end of the day, and it was literally the end of the day because I was determined to hold on because I was trying to get my mind wrapped around preserving the pain. Finally, I got so fed up with holding this little stressy in my hand, I sat him down. Lord have mercy, Jesus, when I did that. It was like ding, 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 light bulb moment. See, at any time during that day, I could have set this little purple thing down. But I chose to preserve the pain and hold on to him through all I was doing. And all that did was impede my ability to function. But when I set that little purple thing down, y'all, I was moving free, had both my hands, I could use things. And I was like, who knew? That means I could have put him down anytime I wanted to. But here was the other part to that, Donovan. And for those of you listening, what I realized that by setting the little purple thing down didn't mean he didn't exist because, y'all, you see, he's still here with his little cute self. But what it did do is I wasn't toting him around like luggage. So for me, making that connection to realize that I have a choice to make. I can either, I have a choice to make, because, you know, I always tell people the choices you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. Choose wisely. But I wasn't choosing wisely. I was choosing to preserve the pain. Case in point was Donovan had me write down, or he didn't really have it. He said, he asked me to look at things a different way because I had some real animosity to my recently ex-husband. I mean, brother couldn't do nothing right. Not in my eyes. He was the devil incarnate. However, Donovan had me look at it with fresh eyes. And I began to write down all the things that man did right. First of all, I wouldn't have married him if he wasn't an amazing man. That's the first thing. Then, and I had to acknowledge that because I wasn't willing to at first. And then I had to acknowledge that throughout my 23 years married to him, everything wasn't hell on fire, even though I made it seem that way. Because again, I was looking through the lens of pain. But when I realized how my husband, my ex-husband, had treated my mom and dad as if they were his mom and dad, that he made sacrifices during our marriage that had he not done what he done, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I was able to look at him with fresh eyes. I could see him as a child of God that he is, and release the pain. So now when I see my ex-husband, I'm not trying to bury him in the backyard. I can actually have a conversation with the brother and be pleasant. I'm not trying to blame him for everything and tell everybody what a waste of life he was. Now I can simply say thanks to you, Donovan, because I'm no longer, here's a little purple thing again, I'm no longer preserving the pain. I'm simply able to say that we were two people that were not the right people for each other and leave it alone. I don't have to rehash all the negativity or anything like that. I can simply say it's over, our run is done, and it's all good. And still be in good place with him, that when he sees our child, it's not a negative experience for him or for me. And it was as if a weight was lifted off of me because I was no longer willing to vilify someone based on a skewed view.
There you go.
So I don't have to preserve the pain.
You go back to that one word, choice.
Choice.
Right? The same way that you chose to let down that purple thing, right? What that does is, by putting that down, what does it do? It also frees you up, right? So now you can hold on to something else. And then also, more importantly, one thing that you mentioned is that in preserving the pain, there's a thing you have to do in order to preserve it, right? So you had to choose, right, certain key pieces of that experience in order to keep that pain where it's at, right? You ignored all those other things, and all it is again, there's another reality that you were willing to, right? That you were willing to actually acknowledge. And by way of doing that, you were able to actually free yourself, right? So that's really what we're just talking about, is that when you talk about, well, what's the process? Yes, just to kind of recap, there's a level of trust that you need to establish. There's permission you need to establish. There's a commitment to work through it. There's the willingness, again, to look at yourself in a critical manner, but a constructively critical manner, right? So that you can say, you know what? While I'm not perfect, there's room for improvement. And there's certain things that I'm looking at that perhaps if I looked at it through a different lens, maybe I could actually be able to make some different decisions in terms of how I'm processing relationships, both familial as well as, intimate. It doesn't matter. All these things come from a place, a belief system that until you're willing to question it, right, you cannot even begin to modify it. And that's where we want to go there. Next, after that, of course, is just the dummy discipline, and the dummy discipline is really where the process, and the process is, backing up, noticing certain behaviors you have to certain triggers, right? And then saying, why am I behaving that way? What can I do to change how I'm responding to certain things? And then actually starting to apply that change in the behavior so that it now becomes part of the new attitude, the new behavior towards a new way of life and new experiences that you'll, hopefully, start to embrace going into the next chapter. You like that pun?
Yeah. But you know what else I love, Donovan, is that because of the work that I've done to you, I know that when the chocolate brother with the rock hard app shows up in my life, I'm going to be able to love like there's no heartbreak. There won't be no old residual baggage. I'll be able to look at him with clear eyes, not holding him responsible for what somebody else has done or my perception of what somebody else has done. Because the truth, as I know it, is not always the truth. You taught me that.
No, thank you. And by the way, at the end of the day, transparency, right? Transparency.
Absolutely.
Because
I'm setting up the Zoom meeting, so give me a second here. I got like 3 different computers on here checking out the iPhone. Y'all, I've been working it today as we doing this launch.
Facebook. You're on what is it? YouTube, right? So you're doing a whole lot in that space.
We're universal here today. I'm like so excited, and I want to just thank you for coming in here. We didn't get that deep into where the kids had to go out the room, but I always have to make sure because I know you do all things relationship, and you and I can take a turn very quickly.
You already know.
So I wanted to make sure the kiddies were safe and no parents don't be writing me no letter saying, I can't believe y'all was talking about all of that. But if you want to talk about sex for real, I mean, grown folks, clutch your pearls. You might need a brown paper bag. You better come see Wednesdays with Wes at 8 p.m. on Instagram. And that is in the relationship script room because it is straight no chaser. I learned about the Yanni theme in that room, polygamy, you name it, polyamory, face down, butt up, you name it. We're going to talk about it On Wednesdays with Wes, everything
anything they
goes.
want to ask, anything they want to ask, they can ask that question in that space. And I really appreciate you providing the platform. I want to emphasize to those who haven't bought the book to to buy the book. Like, that's it. Do not hesitate. Do not procrastinate. Don't be scared. Don't be fearful at all. Just get the book. And at the end of the day, feel free to have the kind of conversations, the bold conversations, the courageous conversations that you need to have, first with yourself, right? And then with trusted circles. So identify them in your circle. Consider Brenda as a part of that in terms of getting some additional context for what you're reading. And feel free to reach out to me if there's anything that I can do to be material to that development. But remember, we're all in this journey, so no one is better than the other. Yours truly. There's tons of mistakes that I've made. There's tons of mistakes that I will make. But the number one thing that I can say that's going to differentiate me from others in that space is that spirit of continuous improvement. How can I be a better father, a better son, a better lover? How can I do that? What can I do to move forward? That's the only thing that's going to differentiate us. And I hope those that are watching right now, those that are holding your book or about to purchase it, those that are reading, that read a little bit, that they're all in that same mindset that, give yourself some grace and then give yourself some space to be great.
Donovan, I want to thank you for coming with me today for this book launch. I couldn't have done it without you. I thank you for what you do in my life every day to make sure that I'm a better version of myself, that I will be whole, nothing missing, nothing broken when I enter the right relationship for me. And for any of you ladies or gentlemen out there that are looking for someone that can help you, you better hit Donovan up at the Relationship Script. He is an awesome coach. Not only that, if you want to have real adult conversations about a variety of subjects, come check him out on Wednesdays with Wes at 8 p.m. Eastern on IG, because I'm telling you, it's no joke. And it's always fun because he brings interesting guests. People are in the hot seat, and it's just a lot of fun. So thank you, Donovan. I'm going to bring my coach up and we're going to close this out. But I want to, before you go, I want to say I thank everyone, because Donovan was the anchor for the TAPIN Method, is the 5-step strategic plan that I outlay in the Soul Search and Get on Board for Transformation using the TAPIN Method book. And the second edition, I'm filling the gaps, y'all, and making sure that you can tap in to live your best life unapologetically unstoppable. And if you're ready to tap into a coach that's going to help you see yourself and become the best version of yourself, tap into Donovan. Donovan, thank you for coming with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, be blessed. Coach, are you ready? I'm doing a wrap up now, guys. So I'm giving my coach a minute before I bring him into the screen. And while I do, I'm going to place this here banner up here so y'all can see the book for one last time before we go to the outros here. There's the book, Coach. I'm pulling you up on stage here. And we are here doing the book launch for Soul Search and Get on Board for Transformation using the TAPIN Method. And we're about to go to the Zoom room so that we can celebrate at 5 p.m. at the top of the hour. So we want to bring Coach on here. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Okay. I'm doing really, really good. And I'm excited because I think we did what we were supposed to do.
Yes.
I think people showed up and showed out. You have anything to report, or are we waiting for the 5 o'clock room to do that?
Well, well, what do you think? What do you think? Should we go ahead?
I think you should go ahead and tell them something, because everybody here won't be in the Zoom room, because the Zoom room, although it's open to anybody that wants to come, but a lot of people already said they're going to be getting kids or different things. So they might want to know, did I do it or did I do it?
Okay. Well, you did the dang thing. You did the dang thing. So I want to say congratulations to #1 best-selling author, Miss Brenda Warren of Soul Searching, her second release for book Soul Searching. And so you were able to hit 2 categories, in education, certification, and development, and education professional development. And I believe you still got some other categories you're working on with Amazon ranking. I believe you can bring in 2 more categories. So, so can't promise, but I'm saying I believe you got a great shot. And so what we need people to do is really share the link out, share the Brenda Solutionist, if we can put it in the comments, and so people can easily copy it, share it out to your friends and family. It's like, hey, look, my friend, my girlfriend, I just mentioned, Brenda Warren just published a book. She needs your help to go to the next level and hit these two categories of becoming a best-selling author. So you already great without those titles, but I think it just really shows just the incredible work that you put in the book. And as we've heard several times from different people, that they see the value. So congratulations to you. I'm honored to have been able to work with you on this process.
Well, Coach, I thank you. And that's the one thing that I did say, was that for the book itself, we know how the process is, and some people don't have a lot of respect for the process itself. But I can tell you this, that for those people that have read my book, I am very proud to be called the bestseller, because I know I put in the work. I know that the contents are sound, so that when somebody picks this work up, they won't go, oh, how did she get that? They will know that the process is sound, that it is universal, and that they can tap into whatever it is that they want, so they no longer have to narrate their limiting beliefs. And I thank you for being a part of that process. And I want to give you the opportunity to say any last words you have before we sign off here of the live stream, so to give ourselves a break, so that we can then go to the 5 o'clock Zoom meeting. And I hope that all of you that are on here right now, go to BrendaTheSolutionist.com. If you haven't already purchased the book, and then click on the link to join us in the Zoom room, so we can talk about it. So y'all can tell me how y'all enjoyed the live stream. You can tell me about the book if you have time. But whatever happens, you want to come in there, because we're going to have some fun, some prizes, and I want you to come join me and celebrate.
Yes, I want to say that the key to any great author, entrepreneur, is if they can consider the end user in mind. Going through this process with you, that was the key. You wanted to make sure that you were offering value. And one thing I can say through this this interesting journey with you is that when you did go to prepare something for the person, the folks who you're going to solve problems for, you was just adamant about over delivering. So guys, if you meet somebody that when you sign up for something or you purchase a book, you go to a course, a seminar, and they say, these are the deliverables. You're like, yes, you want those deliverables, but you want somebody that's going to over deliver, because you want to make sure that you get the full value of the gift that they have. And so I believe, if that makes sense, I believe that Brenda has over delivered. She sent out an awesome free gift. So when you sign up, you get a free gift. And I don't think I've ever seen a free gift more detailed than that. And so the book detailed, the course, I can't wait for to just hear the reviews for that. It's going to be phenomenal. And the retreat, you talked about retreats, and so I can see you doing that. And so amazing work. Congratulations again. And so we give a round of applause to our #1 international best-selling author, Miss Brenda Warren.
I thank you for that, Coach. I'm going to be launching the Golden Ticket campaign in March. The retreats are coming. There is so much more coming. Right now, Coach, as you know, I have in process a children's book that's being illustrated by my own child, Alex. I have the business book that is co-authored with my accountability coach, Lisa Descharme. It's called The Truth About How, I'm reading this, The Truth About How to Save Money and Time, Amazingly Simple Business Tips. Lisa and I really took time to put in those things that we wish we had to know before we started this journey. I also am collaborating with Focus James, the Focus of Love herself, and I think it's 12 other women. We're collaborating on some book about things that we went through in life. The title to Yet to Be Determined. And then I've written a book on productivity. So there's a lot of things moving and going on for me. So I thank you all that have supported me in my journal to do what I do. I hope each and every one of you will tap in to live your best life now. What does now mean? No opportunity wasted. Because if I can do this, you can do anything. There's no limits. And Coach, I thank you, and I'll see you in the Zoom room. Come on, you guys. Follow us over, because remember, the choices you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. Choose wisely and choose to follow me into the Zoom room. See you there, Coach.
Take care. All right. See you.
Bye, everybody.